Thank you for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. I am your co-host, Sarah. With me, as always, is Tate, even though you can't currently see him. We have a great show for you today. We'll be covering last night's Game 3 between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. We'll be remembering basketball legend Jerry West, who recently passed. We'll be talking about Brent McMurphy's assertion that Clemson and Florida State leaving the ACC is inevitable. Moving on from there, we'll be talking about a nightclub in New York City with some interesting entrance requirements, and make sure you stick around for segment 5 when we will be talking about wedding guest requirements that are causing those guests to be more than a little uncomfortable. As we get started, I do want to remind you to like and follow the show. That really does help us out. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, the best way to do that is to go to gsmcpodcast.net. We get a lot of questions and comments during shows. So if you go to gsmcpodcast.net and leave a tip or a donation, that will bump your comment to the top of our queue, ensuring that we see it. Again, that is gsmcpodcast.net. Good morning, Tate.
Good morning, Miss Sarah. How are you doing there?
Doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got our morning walk-in. Mm-hmm. That's what we call our morning production meeting.
Yes.
Where we're going on a long walk, talk about things.
I was actually going to make a snide comment about how someone decided that production meetings would be more productive if we were walking while them, and now I feel old and a little bit stiff.
Okay, so we live in one of the most beautiful parts of the world. So is it better to sit in an office and talk about, okay, we're going to talk about this, talk about that, or go on a nice walk, pass a few beaches, talk about that, and then do the show? So
absolutely. It's just sometimes we get back and I'm like, whoa, little tweak there. It's all good. It is all good. Well, should we talk about some sports?
Let's do it.
How about basketball? We'll talk about last night's games. Let me get this set up really quick. 1 second. And in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics defeated the Dallas Mavericks 106-99, taking a commanding 3-0 series lead. The dynamic duo of Jayson, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown combined for 61 points, with Tatum scoring 31 and Brown adding 30, along with 8 rebounds and 8 assists. This victory puts Boston on the brink of their 18th NBA championship. The game was a roller coaster of momentum swings. Dallas started strong, building an early 10-point lead, but Boston closed the first quarter down by just 1 point. The game remained tightly contested until the third quarter, when Boston's defense tightened and their shooting heated up, extending their lead to 21 points. However, Dallas, led by Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, mounted a fierce comeback in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks went on a 22 run, cutting the Celtics' lead to just 3 points. Doncic was pivotal in this run, but fouled out with 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining, finishing the game with 27 points. Irving led all scorers with 35 points, but without Doncic, the Mavericks couldn't complete the comeback. Despite nearly squandering their large lead, the Celtics held firm in the final minutes. Derek White contributed 16 points, supporting Tatum and Brown as Boston closed out the game, outscoring Dallas 13-7 in the crucial final stretch. This win marks Boston's 10th consecutive playoff victory and their 7th road win in these playoffs. They have a chance to clinch their 18th championship and surpass the Los Angeles Lakers for the most titles in NBA history with a win in Game 4. Tate, we just talked about this. You said this game was crucial. Talk to me.
I said this game was crucial. I thought that the Mavs would win this game. And it started out as a situation where it's like, okay, in order for the Mavs to win, one of the number one criteria is they have to have Luka get off, who Luka has consistently gotten off. But it was also crucial that Kyrie got off. And Kyrie has not looked that great during these finals. So when the game started out and Kyrie started out hot and Luka started out hot, and you could tell that Kristaps Porzingis not being in the game, there was a factor. It opened up the court. It opened up driving lanes. Opened up the driving lanes to the basket. Majorly opened up. Also, I noticed that Kyrie away from Boston was a different player. His game picked up, his scoring picked up. The Celtics did what normally on paper you wanted them to do. Like Kyrie and Luka do their thing. In most places, that would have been good enough. But they're playing the Celtics, and the Celtics is a complete team. Position 1 through 7, they have scorers and scoring and defense. And whether it's the first Jaylen Brown or Tatum, it doesn't matter. They have too many weapons. And even though Kyrie got off, even though Luka got off, the Celtics were just too much. Offensively, defensively, support off the bench. Everything you want from a team was done. They got out to a big lead. First, Dallas had a bit of a lead. Celtics ended up having another lead that they kind of squandered. And, Dallas got back in it. But in the end, their big players stepped up where the Mavericks players fouled out. And it was Luka getting that foul at the end, I thought was absolutely unacceptable. There's a couple things about Luka that I look at and I say, why did Dallas lose? And I lean toward Luka. Luka's been awesome this whole series. It's not his offense. Luka's defense has been horrendous. This series, especially last night, he was a liability on defense. Not only that, but his conditioning failed him as well. And once his conditioning failed him, then he started making mistakes. And the biggest mistake you could have is that last foul that he got fouled out on. When he fouled out, that meant the game was over. There was nothing that could be done. Dallas could not move on or beat them if Luka's not on the court. And that foul, whether you think it's controversial or not, that foul should have never happened. That play should have never happened because Luka's too valuable to the team to take that risk. You don't put yourself in that situation when your team depends on you so much to be in a situation where you could get fouled out, where it is a judgment call by the referee. Personally, the referee made the right decision. Luka did not make the right decision. With that, they're out. This series is over. It is absolutely over. I thought it was going to be, I said it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I don't think so now. I think we're going to be closing this series out in game 4.
Wow.
And this is disappointing because I thought this was going to be the series, that this was going to be an all-time great series, but I feel like only one team really showed up.
Yeah. And that stat that Boston has won 7 games on the road in this playoff series, what do you think it is about their team this year that is enabling those
this on wins? Paper, this is one of the all-time great teams. It won't get remembered as an all-time great team, but when you look at the numbers, you look at the stats throughout the year, their win percentage, everything else, statistically, they're one of the best teams to come through in the last decade. And in this playoffs, they're showing there's a gap between where Dallas is at and where the Mavericks are at. I watch this series and I keep thinking to myself, man, I wish Minnesota could have done better against Dallas. Because I think this would be a much more competitive series with Minnesota than it is with Dallas. I don't think Dallas has much of a shot now. No team, I don't think any team has ever came back from an 0-3 deficit. And if someone has, it's only been done once. It's pretty much, let's just say percentage-wise, it's a 90+% chance that this series is a wrap. And I think it's a wrap sooner than that, because I don't see them picking up a game.
Well, we were just here, except it was Dallas who was up 3 games, and you were saying, maybe a gentleman's sweep with Minnesota, who did rally for that 4th game. So
now, see, here's the thing, though. I don't even know if Dallas has it in them to rally to get to just take one. It's gonna be, I don't know if they have it. They came out and they did exactly what they wanted to do, which is get Kyrie involved, get Luka involved. But the big problem isn't, like yesterday, the problem wasn't Luka offensively and Kyrie. It was Luka's defense, the team defense, and an outright absence of support elsewhere. You can't win an NBA Finals getting no support off of from your other players, and especially your bench, on top of playing poor defense. You just can't do that. That is a recipe for disaster, and that's what we're seeing here, as an outright disaster for the Dallas Mavericks.
It's unfortunate. There's been some surprises in this postseason, and they haven't all been fun surprises.
There won't be any more surprises in this one. There won't be a 7-game series and with the Mavericks winning. I'm going to tell you that.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first break for this episode. When we come back, we'll be remembering Jerry West. You are tuned in to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.